Hello, hello, everybody. Bree Sedano here, coming to you live today. Super, super excited. Today, we're going to be talking about law of attraction and money. And I'm going to share with you, I've been studying law of attraction for quite some time. Like, I probably read The Secret when I was definitely in my 20s. And now here I am, 38. I don't want to be like pushing 40, but um and after many many years of studying wealth, studying prosperity thinking, studying law of attraction, studying universal laws and intelligence, um, I created a course to help kind of really simplify a lot of what you learn when you're studying law of attraction. So I'm super excited to talk about these things with you today. So as you're hopping on live, please say hello to me. If this is your first time ever watching me, ever coming on live, please say hello so that way I just know that you're here and I can welcome you to the community. And even if you're somebody who's watched a zillion times, please say hello. All right. So I'm going to do my talk, and then I have a special announcement. We're doing something special for everybody new who joins Cash Confident between now and the end of September. So I will talk about that at the end. But let's get into the meaty bits. Oh, hello, Miss Abigail Rose. I'm so happy to see your sweet face bubble. All right. So I'm gonna just share. So I read The Secret in my 20s. Now I see there's some of you live. So if you've watched or if you've read The Secret or you watched the movie The Secret, let me know. Because I think that's really like the start point where most people start to learn about, even the words manifestation, law of attraction, anything having to do with getting some universal assistance and creating the life of our dreams. Yes, perfect. And so when I first read The Secret, I was definitely like sitting around thinking real hard. I'm like, I hope I win a $10,000 lotto ticket. Like I remember just really thinking over and over again, like really affirming to myself that things were being different, right? Things were going to be different. I was going to have everything that I ever wanted. And when I first read The Secret, I was working at a Boys and Girls Club. I was making like, I don't know, $32,000 a year. I wasn't, I got married young, we had kids young, and we had a mortgage early in life. And so, even though really I was abundant, like, even though I really was an abundant person, I never really felt I never really felt like I was living in a life of abundance. Money really felt like a struggle for me at this point in my life. And so, when I read that book, I was like, what? You could think about things and the universe will help deliver them to you. Um, and I saw evidence of that in my life. Like, I remember thinking there was a year when I was in high school and I made a list of everything that I wanted to do that year. And at the end of the year, I'd like literally checked off every single one of the things that I either wanted to have, be, do, whatever. And so when I read The Secret, it started to make things click for me. I started to get it. But what I found is it doesn't actually work all that well if you're just thinking about the things. It doesn't actually work very much at all. That positive, positive thinking, positive everything, like it's not really super duper effective in and of itself. And the more I learned about law of attraction, I started to come up on things like raising your vibration and really understanding being the vibrational match, right? Like if you study this stuff, you'll hear these phrases. And for the longest time, I was trying to understand something in my head that was really like a body level understanding. And so I'm very excited because I think that learning how to understand the energetics of abundance, like understanding what these things literally feel like inside your body, is like the game changer. Like when I started to really understand that these are not mental concepts, you do need some mental concept. Like you actually really don't need to understand to be able to feel the things. But most people, their mind won't let them get it. Your mind's got to be at least a little bit on board. Your mind's got to be like somewhat wrapped around these things to be able to really clearly do the energetic work, because the energetic piece is the important piece, and that's the part that kind of it's not hard once you understand, but it's the piece that if your brain's not on board, it's like, what does she wants us to do? What, sit around in meditation and write our gratitudes or what? Your brain is like, what are you talking about? So anyways, So some of the places that I found are really lacking in the entire dialogue, the entire law of attraction dialogue, is that there's not really a very clear explanation between what's going on in your mind and what has to be happening in your body. And really, that's probably not all the way true, but it was definitely something I didn't understand until somebody really, really explained it to me. Even though I've taken many, many courses, I've read many books, like a lot of books, and I've really been a good student on these things. So this is the way that I kind of break these energetic activities up. And so I have a new course that is actually dropping today inside the Cash Confident community. It's called Law of or Life of Abundance. And inside of Cash Confident, these are some of the activities that the right now we have like 72 members of Cash Confident are just going to get. It's only available inside the community, but I'm going to teach you some of the things. I'm going to just teach you some of the things right here now for free. So there's really four different types of activities as far as energetic activities when it comes to the law of attraction. So the first one is about clearing. And this was something that I didn't hear until a couple years ago. Actually, I read a book called Existential Kink by Dr. Carolyn Elliott, and she was really the first person who really talked about clearing, really talked about making space and, you know, doing clearing practices. So here's the deal. In our we're an energy system, right? And when you meet somebody, you can feel their vibe, right? Have you ever met somebody who just is delightful? They're just a delightful person. They just radiate delight. That feels very different than if you've ever met a person who's just angry. Not angry at anything. They just have a lot of anger in their field. They're angry. They're quick to anger. There's a lot going on there for them, right? You can feel that. You can feel that in their energy system, even just meeting them. You can see by the way they carry themselves, like who's got what going on. You ever meet somebody who radiates confidence or radiates lack of confidence? These are things that we see, we notice in people. And so clearing helps us to make space for things, which is really the process. I call it next level gratitude. So in the course, we go through an activity called next level gratitude. And really what it is you start to see all of the good stuff that happened for you when something bad, unfortunate, hard, whatever, and happened. Because a lot of times what blocks us up energetically, what gets in the way of us being able to manifest and create, is that we have all of these unprocessed feelings. We have all of these unhealed kind of just junk going on in our energy systems. So what ends up happening is when life serves you up something fantastic, you're going to energetically digest that very quickly. Like if you have a beautiful sunset, a great day, you're going to feel it. You're going to let yourself have those feelings, and it's not really going to get stored. But when you get served something hard, like a sharp criticism, a betrayal, a lot of anger, you know having your feelings hurt, a lot of times we do things to not feel those feelings. It doesn't really work, but we do it anyways, right? And so we avoid certain feelings. And what ends up happening when that's the case is those vibrations, those feelings are still active, right? So if you hear of somebody getting triggered, that means that what you said or what you did brought up all of somebody's unprocessed old feelings about something else. And you'll see that. It's like if you have a really bad day at work and all you get home and your kids ask you what's for dinner before you even had a chance to like catch your breath and you snap, you're not really mad because they talked to you. You're not really angry because, they asked you what's for dinner. You're angry because of the things you're still processing. So you're processing some anger, they bring that up, and that's it. And so a trigger's slightly different than that example, but I hope you're with me. Let me know if you're with me. Give me a heart or a like, or just write, you're with me if you're with me there. And so clearing helps to do that. So when it comes to our money, a lot of us have unprocessed feelings of shame around our money, where maybe we felt greedy, maybe we felt guilty, maybe we felt some kind of way for having our own needs, for having our own desires, right? And so we're going to have to clear those things out to make space for the abundance that we can have, right? And so that's one flavor of clearing. Sometimes we grew up in situations that were hard. And so there's a lot of stress around our relationship with money. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of feelings of not enough. There's a lot of feelings of poverty, right? Let me know if this is resonating. And so those things, we have to kind of clear those things out, because what ends up happening is if you have a ton of money but also a deep sense of fear, and fear is active in your vibration, you'll lose the money, right? You'll never feel like you have enough. That feeling of freedom or security will still elude you, right? The Chronicle of Philanthropy did like a big survey. This is a long time ago now, and they asked people who had just gotten massive inheritances, what would it take for you to feel financially secure? And overwhelmingly, the answer to that question was double. No matter how much money they had, no matter how much money they just received, they were saying double. And what that tells me is there's still a feeling of insecurity. And so when we feel insecure in our relationship with money, no amount of money will help that. Like, that feeling of insecurity will be dictating our decisions. It will be influencing what we attract. And that will be part of just our money story until we feel those feelings. So we have to go back and we have to look at our stories around money and clear out some of those things that we don't want to be manifesting. So, like, things like shame, guilt, embarrassment, things like feeling less than, unworthiness, all of these things. We want to clear these things up and out. And so in the new course that's coming out in Cash Confidence today, called Life of Abundance, I teach you some practices around this. And so sometimes clearing is as simple as, like, literally decluttering your physical space, right? Sometimes you can declutter your physical space. That's a clearing practice. It's a clearing practice in the physical realm. When it comes to your money, that may be things like, canceling the subscriptions you don't use, like letting go of the things that you don't need anymore, getting rid of, like, your magazine subscriptions or your literal physical magazines in your house. Um, and sometimes really, like, the practice that I teach, I call it next level gratitude. And it's really starting to look at and get grateful about some of the harder stuff, because when you're grateful about the more difficult experiences life has given you, you get the gifts out of them. You get, like, the strength, the resilience, the courage, the whatever. Like, a lot of the gifts that we need, that we use every day in our life, you don't get resilience in a beautiful way. Nobody does. You get resilience by getting your ass whooped by life a little bit, right? It's getting knocked down a whole bunch of times and standing up and over again. And having resilience that you can count on means just that. And when we don't really accept the situations that made us the way that we are, a lot of times is it just causes dysfunction in our relationship with money. And so that's a very, very important part to law of attraction, because here's the thing is, you don't attract what you want. That is not how law of attraction goes. It's what you're radiating. It's what you're being. It's who you are. It's your entire energy field. And I think this is where a lot of the beginning level law of attraction stuff, like The Secret, gets it wrong, because it's not, you do not attract what you want. You really attract what you are. So somebody who is an abundant person, who sees life with a sense of abundance, who wears like rose-colored abundance glasses, and who gives generously and who takes action from that place of abundance, is going to be a more abundant person than somebody who just wants abundance but sits in a puddle of energetic scarcity, right? And I'll tell you, for years, that was me. For years, I was like, I am the eternal flow of abundance, as I was energetically sitting in a puddle of scarcity. Anybody ever do that? Affirm these really beautiful, affirmations and abundance creating sayings, but in the meantime, like, you could feel your muscles tight from the fear of lack that's going on in your life? Or is it just me? I'm guessing some of you may have done that, right? So clearing helps you to feel those sensations. And what that does for you is it helps you to really stretch your nervous system, because money is super, super sensational. So we have to get our body able to experience sensations. Like, what's funny is a lot of times people will block wealth from getting into their life because they literally can't handle the feelings of it. You ever hear somebody say, money burns a hole in my pocket? That's somebody who gets rid of their money because they can't handle the sensation of having their money. That's the way it goes. There's nothing, it's just, and these things, once you understand them, they're easily adjustable. They're easy to adjust, right? It's just learning a different way. And so that's one of the first and really most important practices that you're going to learn to effectively use law of attraction. It's going to be clearing those old things out. So if you don't clear those old things out, they're going to stay active in your vibration and you're going to be manifesting those things. So you might be calling in all sorts of new abundance, calling in opportunities, praying for things, affirming things, talking to the universe, journaling, doing all the work, but like there's no room for it to get in because you're still holding on to old stories, old belief structures, old physical stuff. So clearing helps with that. So the next thing that we want to learn how to do to effectively use law of attraction in our money is how to cultivate feelings. All right. So cultivating is the process where we start to look around the external world to like tap tap on frequencies that we know what they are outside in the world and notice what they feel like inside. This helps us to cultivate and to start to get that emotional intelligence and that energetic awareness. Right. So in the entire law of attraction community, you'll hear people saying things like practicing your gratitudes. Well, why would you practice gratitude? Because gratitude is the frequency of having. So generally, you're going to be grateful for things you have, right? And so the more gratitude you have, you're expanding your capacity for having, right? And so if you want more abundance, it means you want to have more. And gratitude and being in the frequency of gratitude helps us to radiate that havingness, right? We radiate that, and then the universe can give us back more things to be grateful for, right? And that's super, super common stuff in the law of attraction. So let me know, as you're here now, tell me, do you have a gratitude practice? Is that something that you regularly practice? Let me know. And inside, and so learning how to understand some cultivation practices helps you to understand what frequencies feel like. So in the life of abundance, we go over gratitude, we go over appreciation, we go over some other things, we talk about luxury, we talk about some other frequencies to really learn how to cultivate. We learn how to tap into them, right? And so in this, we're kind of cheating. We're not cheating, but we're using what we know to be in the external world, and we're we're hearing what it sounds like, right, or what it feels like on the external world. And so that's how you start. You have, because when it comes to the next levels of like conjuring up emotions and really carrying those emotions, really holding frequencies, being with those frequencies, you have to know what these things each individually feel like as you start to get more complex. So it's like you kind of like, if you were playing with your piano, you'd be like C, and you'd hear a C, and then you could learn to feel it from there, right? And that we're not playing music, we're manifesting the life of our dreams, but that's really one of the things. So cultivating is the practice where you look around your life and you're like, well, what do I want to have? And you start to really feel into those places of gratitude. And inside that new course, I give a whole bunch of gratitude practices because I like them. They're fun to do, where we talk about making a list of the things we're gratitude, and a deep dive gratitude, and text message gratitude, and really like gratitude for future things, which is the point. Like, we want to end up at a place where we're grateful for the things that we don't have yet, because then we're the vibrational match for having those things. And that's very, very tricky to do energetically. Like, in your mind, you could be like, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll be grateful for the thing before I have it. But really feeling into the gratitude of having something you don't have yet versus into the lack, into the wanting, into the needing, into the, desperate clinging of the thing, right? Like, if I really want money, to feel grateful for money I don't have yet feels a little delusional, to be totally honest. Makes you feel like you're a little bit crazy. But if I stay focused on the need, the lack of it, and the wanting of it, then I'm vibrating the lack of it, the need for it. And this is really important nuance. It's important because if you're If you're energetically in the place of lack and need, you're going to manifest bills instead of manifesting money. And this is important stuff. Like clients will sometimes come see me and they'll be like, I keep, I got a medical bill and my car broke and this and that. And I'm like, all right. So we're in the quantum, feeling lack, feeling need, feeling, you know, not gratitude, not abundance, which means that we need to do both. We need to do a clearing practice and a cultivation practice to create more gratitude in our energy fields, right? And also, like sometimes too, some of us are numb on the inside a little bit. Like we've built numbness, we've built barriers, we put up walls, right? So, like, I'll tell you, like for me, I had a lot of apathy, like a lot of I just don't give a F in my field. And I had to really learn how to feel into that numbness and accept it and love it so that way I could learn to feel into these higher frequencies like love, gratitude, joy, bliss. But I had to clear up some of the stone walls that I built for myself, at different points during my life. And so cultivating is the practice of really learning how to feel, how to really feel those frequencies and what they really feel like in your body. When you have a high level of emotional awareness and of that emotional intelligence, your manifestations get so clean so fast because you can feel when they're a little conflicty. And there's nothing wrong with them being conflicty. That's part of the process, but you can feel like you're like, wow, if I really imagine myself having that next level, you know, job, that promotion, new clients or whatever, like part of me feels really excited and really good. And part of me feels a little afraid I'm not good enough. And then that shows you where you can go back to those clearing practices if you need to clear something up. So cultivating helps you to get in touch with the frequencies you're looking to build in your life. It helps you to start to name these things and really build out a high level of emotional awareness and emotional intelligence. Now, I see there's some of you live. So is that do you want to know how to have more like emotional awareness, emotional intelligence? Do you think that's something that would help you in your financial journeys, I guess? Let me know in the comments. All right. So then the third thing that we want to learn how to do in these law of attraction type practices is then that's where once we have our cultivating under control and um, we start to learn, what these things feel like. And we start to stretch our nervous system and really feel into, the good stuff. But also, you're going to feel into some of the harder stuff too, right? When we're cultivating, like maybe stuff comes up and you're like, wow, I'm really feeling hurt around this criticism. I'm really feeling this. You start to feel into those frequencies. Once you have some of once you have some awareness around those things, then that's where you can start the conjuring practice. So I'll get into that in just a second, but all right, we have a couple questions, so I'm just going to answer these. So imposter syndrome, is that a sign of needing to clear? So listen, imposter syndrome or feeling not good enough, feeling unworthy is really just a part of you that just needs to be loved and accepted. Every single person I've ever met, no matter how successful they are, at some point feels like an imposter, feels unworthy, feels not deserving, feels, all of those things. And so it's not an indication that anything's wrong with you. It's just an indication of being a human. And so that is something to clear where when we're clearing stuff, we're not getting rid of it. We're loving and accepting those things about ourselves. And I want to be really clear about that because sometimes people are like, help me get rid of this scarcity mindset. And I'm like, all right, like when it comes to your thinking, you can choose what to do with your focus. And that's really important to learn how to do, right? Like you can choose to focus on the abundance in your life, or you can choose to focus on the scarcity in your life because they're both available, right? If I looked around my life and I was like, you know what, I don't have 10,000 ponies in my yard. I don't have a pond. I don't have a lake. I don't have a gaggle of ducks. I'm not sure. I don't have any ducks. Never mind a gaggle, a flock. I don't know what you call ducks. I don't have ducks. I don't have a single duck. I could get myself into scarcity because there's zillions of things I don't have. Like literally billions of things I don't have. Billions. And if I look at my life and I look at all of the abundance that's here, I have a ton of abundance, but I get to choose how to use that focus, right? And so sometimes It's just about focusing. So if we're very focused on our inadequacies, if we're focused on our tough spots, if we're focused on our problems, we're going to feel a lot of imposter syndrome. And so that's where we can start to shift that focus. But also, we need to bring those parts of us that we've been rejecting, like our unworthiness or our, you know, feeling of undeservingness. Those things need to be integrated, and that's really how you clear things. It's, you don't like sweep them away and throw them in the trash. You bring them into your consciousness with love and acceptance, and then you get all of their power, and you also get some conscious control over things. So I hope that answered your question, Abigail. And Cheyenne says, yes. And that was to the question of just wanting to learn how to cultivate things and how to clear blocks. Yeah, perfect. So that's all in Life of Abundance. And so then the next thing is really learning how to conjure things up, right? And so so if you've read any books on manifesting, law of attraction, they're going to tell you to use visualization. They're going to say, close your eyes, visualize your success, and feel into it. That's always one of the activities. And the reason for that is because it helps you to get a clear mental picture, which helps you to clearly set an intention, which like gives the universe instructions for the things that you want. And then you feel into it. So that way you can start to feel, wow, I feel really good. I feel really clean. I feel really aligned about this. Or wow, I feel really excited and simultaneously really terrified. Wow, I feel kind of like I want to do this, and also a mountain of self-doubt. I feel really good, and like I also don't want these responsibilities. Because when we're a little conflicted, when we imagine these things and we're a little conflicted, we get conflicted results. Because you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So if you are conflicted and you're saying, oh, I really want more money, but I don't want responsibility, mm, that's conflicted, because money comes with they're a little one and the same, right? You like, if anyway, if you're when you're business, not necessarily all money doesn't necessarily come with high levels of responsibility. But let's just say for me, right? Like, so like my goal is to have 1,000 members in Cash Confident in the next year or two. And that's something I really want. Well, what does that mean? That means I'm going to have to be able to hold space for 1,000 people. It means I'm going to have to hire somebody. It means I'm going to have next level customer service, right? And like, there's going to be more to do. There's going to be more responsibilities. There's going to be more tasks to do. And so if I'm simultaneously like, I really would love the money and the fun of having 1,000 members, but I'm not really willing to hold the space or do the customer service work or hire the people, like it doesn't match. Like I'm going to be too conflicted, and I'm not going to be able to take action in the ways that are required to end up there. And also, like, the universe can't match that because I'm not giving it enough space, right? Like I'm asking for a dream that's this big, but my emotional range where I'm willing to go is this big, right? Like if I'm not willing to experience the sensations of responsibility. And so conjuring is where you start to create vibrations that you're looking to create on purpose, right? And so we do that through journaling, we do that through our visualizations. Like if you imagine yourself, smelling, tasting, something, that's a conjuring activity. And so that's where you're kind of talking to the universe, and you're saying these are really the things that I want. But this is where cultivating, you have to kind of go back, right? So to be able to effectively use conjuring up feelings, conjuring up dreams, conjuring up emotions, and getting really clear, one, you need to know what you want to be able to effectively do that. And you can practice in small ways. You can want things like an ice cream cone today. Like you don't always have to be looking for like, you know, life-changing stuff. You could cultivate, I don't know. I have a piece of it. Sorry. Cultivate or conjuring up just like a romantic dinner with your spouse, or things that you just want that are on a smaller scale, that aren't like, full life overhauls. You could conjure up little pit stops, right? But this will take you back. So if you're conjuring something up, you're going to go back, you're going to be, and then that shows you where to be cultivating. And so then you like close your eyes and you're like, oh, let me feel into this. All right. So, all right, I got this and this and this. All right. And I do see this responsibility that I'm resistant around. Let me tap into the feeling of responsibility. Let me get good with these feelings of responsibility. And if you have anything to clear, it's going to show you that too. So if I feel a massive amount of fear, or if I feel ashamed, and like I don't want to be making live videos, or I don't want to be seen, or I'm not good enough to be seen, or I'm not good enough to help people, right? Then that shows me some things that are unhelpful, and I'm going to get to clear those things. And so that's kind of how conjuring goes. It's like you're creating your vibe on purpose, and then you know what to you then you know how to cultivate it, you know how to stay with it, dissect it a little bit, so that way you know really, really energetically inside your body what it feels like, and you know when it's time to clear something. What's one thing that you're like looking to create, to conjure up, to do on purpose, right? Like what's one thing in your life? It could be an emotional state, it could be a physical thing, it could be a house, a business, things happening in your business, things happening in your love life. But what's one thing that you're looking to do, to have, to create? One thing that you would love to use your imagination to kind of start over scratch and just build it out for yourself. And if you are really feeling feisty, close your eyes for a second and feel into it and tell me what emotions come up. What does it feel like to have that thing when you close your eyes? Because your body shows you, like your body's like the odometer for where you are vibrationally. It shows you where you are energetically. And so if you close your eyes and you're like, wow, I feel okay, and wow, a huge part of me is terrified, like that's great information. It's great stuff to know. All right, so that's how conjuring works. And then the last bit is learning how to carry a frequency, how to be with a frequency, and that's really where it comes around, like embodiment. It's really becoming the person who has these things, who does these things, who takes the right actions, like, or not the right actions, but the actions aligned with the thing, and that it's you carrying that thing before you even have it, right? And that's like a really big deal. Like if you ever watch the Elton John movie, and I'm only saying this because Abigail is basically a rock star. Um, but if you ever watch the Elton John movie that he did like a good few years ago at this point, he starts dressing like Elton John before he's famous. He's wearing like fur suits, like, you know, and big sunglasses and crazy top hats before he's all the way famous. And at first, it's wild. At first, it doesn't make sense. At first, he's like being a rock star before he's all the way a rock star. And that's part of it. And so that's carrying the frequency. So that way when you meet people, you vibe like a rock star even before you have rock star level success. Um, which means you have to do a ton of clearing, because a lot of times we're afraid of being judged. We're afraid of what people are going to think about us, what people are going to say about us, and that really gets in the way of doing the things that would make us be carrying those frequencies, right? Like literally, like that Elton John example, like it takes some serious huevos to dress up like a rock star, wear giant sunglasses, carry on when you're still singing songs at like the local bar. It doesn't exactly make sense, but that's how you know that you're going to be the rock star, is when you can be in the vibration of the rock star before you're all the way the rock star. And that's one of the next things, and that's where it kind of starts to come together. And so that's where you're stretched and you're ready to receive. Like you've done the work for your nervous system and you've cleared out the fears, the judgments, the guilt, the shame, the anger, the desperation, whatever comes up with these things. And then you're practiced on your cultivating, so that way you have that emotional awareness, emotional intelligence around things. So that way when something comes up and it needs to be cleared, you can feel into it right inside your body right away. And then you can start to use your imagination to go inside yourself and to create things. And then by the time you're carrying things, you get to feel the frequencies and you don't need the external world. So when we're cultivating, we're using the external world to bounce back something that we know makes us feel a certain way, so that way we can learn. But when we're carrying, we already have that kind of mastered. And then that's the place where we can be like self-sourced. And so it's like when you can have a good day no matter what's going on, that's the place where like manifestation really happens. And it doesn't have to be a good day versus a bad day, but it's like you don't need the external, like you don't need a single thing to be able to feel into gratitude. You can feel gratitude inside your own self. You don't need anything to feel appreciation. You don't need anything to feel luxury. You can get to those frequencies inside your own self, regardless of what's going on in the external world, right? Like that's the magic. And it's a process. These things take a little bit of time. But the thing that is really important is that I think is kind of neglected in the bulk of the law of attraction work, and which is why I made this entire course and why I do Cash Confident, is because those clearing practices, clearing out limiting beliefs, clearing out old hurts, clearing out like unhelpful frequencies, letting that stuff go is a massive part of this being able to be successful. You can't move in all new furniture to your house while you still have old furniture, and you can't move in all new belief structures until you take out the old belief structures. And you can't move in all new emotions until you've felt and processed and cleaned up all those old ones too. And cultivating, I think, is the other thing that's really important. It's like when you're not self-sourced yet, that's the piece that helps you to kind of, it's not cheating, but it's like it helps you to use that things that are going well in the external world to create a energetic state. But then we want to flip that around so that way you can be in that energetic state no matter what's happening. And so cultivating is a beautiful place to start, but cultivating won't get you there. It's like a training ground. It's not the thing to do, right? It's so we learn how to do these things. So I see that there's still some people on. So just give me a heart, a like, a funny face if you're tracking, if you're with me, if this stuff makes sense to you. Um, and then if you have any questions, you could go ahead and ask. And then I'm gonna just share with you some of the things that we're doing inside Cash Confident. Um, oh, all right. Thank you, Abigail with the hearts. Cheyenne. I hope I'm saying your name right, Cheyenne Davis Lamb. I hope I am. All right. So Cash Confident is my membership program. And I'm so excited about this. We've been doing Cash Confident for almost a year now. And before we started doing it as a membership, I did all of this work only as high ticket offers for my clients. And last year, we decided, like, I really decided that I wanted to really impact the world. You know, honestly, my work is some of the best work that there is on money because I include all of it. I include the financial strategy, we include habit work, we include money mindset work, we include the emotional intelligence, and there's a community for support. If you have those 5 things, building wealth is very, very easy. It's not hard to do if you have everything that you need, but building wealth is hard for most people because they're just working with a financial strategy and they're fighting against their habits and they don't have their money mindset or they don't have their emotional intelligence. They're not using things like law of attraction. They're forcing, they're fighting, they're striving, they're struggling, and it doesn't work. And then when they go and they talk to their friends or their relatives, they don't have a community for support. So Cash Confident is a place where we have a community for support. And inside Cash Confident, inside the description, you'll see, I wrote it all out there. Cash Confident is for people who are on the journey, who are implementing. There is a ton of courses, there's a ton of content, there's a ton of things to learn. It's all there for you, but Cash Confident isn't the place. I mean, you're going to learn, but that's not what we're there for. What we're there for is to do the work, it's to implement, it's to get it done, it's to build the wealth. Reading the recipe doesn't get the cake baked, right? And so inside Cash Confident, we have different sets of calls live to help you with things. So every month we do 2 money mindset, money mentorship calls. You can come, you can talk to me about whatever's sticky in your money, whatever problems you're having, whatever junk is going on, wherever you feel like your expansion is being, where you're in your own way, where you're fearing self-sabotage, where you've scared the crap out of yourself. If you're wondering if you're doing something right, if you want a little validation around your numbers or around your manifesting, around your mindset, any of that, you can come, you can get my attention, I'll give you feedback, and everybody that comes to those calls learns so much from each other. So twice a month we do that sort of work. Twice a month we do accountability calls. So somebody on my team just holds space for you to come and get your work done. So people love these. Like, it's just like a time to put on the calendar to make sure that you come in and you get your stuff done. So that's it. And so we help you to make sure that you get the work done. Because, like, again, if you learn everything but you don't do anything, you're not going to get any results. Like, money is a thing where you need this much knowledge and this much implementation, but most people want this much knowledge and this much implementation, and that doesn't work. So the accountability calls twice a month will hold space for you, will show up, get your work done. And then actually in October, we're starting transaction reviews. So you can come to the calls. It's an off camera, no recording meeting with your transactions. And then you'll just get my eyes on your transactions. And then I'll give you feedback like, oh, all right. Hey, I see that you're going to the grocery store 12 times in a month. Let's get that down to 4. Oh, we're doing this with your money. We could probably do this in a better way. Hey, wow, I see that you're really spending a lot on car insurance. It's probably time to shop that out. Just that kind of feedback, that nitty gritty level feedback. And that really helps to hold people accountable. This is going to be the first time we're going to try it in the small group setting. That's why we're going to be off camera and we're not recording the calls because it is highly sensational. It's like really, but it's so good. It's so useful. And that kind of feedback really, really helps people. It really, really makes a big difference. So that's one of the things that we'll be doing in Cash Confident. Inside Cash Confident, you get a full suite of all of my courses. You get Find Your Bleed, which will show you how to track your transactions. It'll talk to you about habit changes and will help you to make sustainable habit changes in your spending. You'll get the invisible system that shows you a no budget system to manage household finances. It is the most effective way to manage household finances because once everything is set up and it's all done, you can log into your bank account and know exactly how many dollars you have to spend between now and the next time you get paid without screwing up your life. And that question is the number one thing people actually really want to know is how much money can I spend on whatever I want? Gas, groceries, things like that. But like, because most of us accidentally overspend and then we're running into credit card debt or money is very stressful. You'll get Money Mindset Bootcamp. Will teach you how to break limiting beliefs. It's going to show you how to dig through your own psyche to understand your own limiting beliefs. It's going to show you where your comfort zones are around your money, how to stretch your comfort zones. It's going to show you how to basically come to terms with the chatty ass hat in your brain that talks, that gives you imposter syndrome and just shit talks you all day. That work, if you do it, will change your whole perspective on money. You're going to know exactly where you are, and it's going to help you to show up to those calls and really make the most difference. Really learn to think like a wealthy woman. You're going to get Life of Abundance. That's going to teach you energetic practices so that way you can work on that emotional intelligence while you work on your mindset, while you work on your habits, while you have your strategy in place. You're going to get 30 days to get a raise. So anybody looking to make more money, we just did 30 days to get a raise and the clients' results were crazy. We had clients going from $40,000 to $65,000. We have clients getting 16% raises, clients getting $5,000 raises, clients asking for more money from their clients and their businesses, clients' revenue streams opening up, it was just crazy success. And it just happened. Like we haven't even had all of the time for all of the changes to fully implement. So you'll get 30 days to get a raise. You'll get a course called I Am, which will show you deep clearing practices on core wounds around money, stuff that stems deep from childhood. So you get I Am. You'll get all of those courses and you'll get access to all of those courses. And honestly, if you buy all of the courses, they're more expensive than the entire year of Cash Confident. And then Cash Confident is there's an app on your phone. So that way you have it, you can digest the content nice and easy. It's just do you need to see it? I don't know. Let me show you. I'll just show you. So it's in Mighty Network. So you'll kind of just see there's a home screen and it's private. So it feels like social media. It feels like a social media type thing, but it's private. So you can ask, everything is kept inside the community. It's not just out in the public. So there's that. We do strategy libraries. So there's content very specific to money, different strategies like buying your first house, paying off credit card debt, stuff about credit scores, how to pick a financial advisor, the basics of the stock market. There's all sorts of nerdy stuff in there. And so you get all of that content. Again, you can watch it on your computer. You can listen to it while you're driving. A lot of this stuff has workbooks. You get the calls. Everything's there for you. And extra bonus, everybody who signs up between now and the end of September is going to get a super cool free t-shirt. So we just ordered they have the logo for Cash Confident. Uh let me see. I do have a picture of this, but I don't have it where I can share it on my screen. But let's see. I'm going to show this to you because it's just cool. I'm excited about it because it's just one of those things to just like be like to have the t-shirt that matches the community. Like it feels good. So you can oh, where am I? So it's just a pink t-shirt, but it's so cool. It has the Cash Confident. Our logo is like the dagger with the moon that's getting bigger. You know, it's like a sign of increase when the moon is getting bigger, and then the dagger is like both a sign of power and like the whole thing is feminine. And like my whole mission in doing this is around women really wielding their money powerfully. That's why I do this, because I've suffered financially. I've let money be a limiting factor in my life a zillion times over. And I see how much pain that caused me. I see how much limitation that caused me. I see how much that the ideas that I had around money prevented me from giving my gifts to the world. And I don't want that for anybody. I want you to do the things that you want. I want you to live where you want. I want you to buy the food that you want. I want you to educate your kids the way that you want. You know, I have some clients, not that I'm pushing for this in particular, but I've had clients that get their money stuff together, leave marriages that don't work, you know, have babies where they didn't think they could have babies. More because like their financial stuff was so stressful that they didn't think bringing a baby into the world. We're not doing fertility or anything like that here, but you probably knew by the topic, by my talk. But that's the sort of stuff that we're doing in Cash Confident. And the community there is so beautiful. It's so wonderful. The women are encouraging to each other. They cheer each other on. They show up to the calls. They get to know each other. They make friends. Like it just all feels so good. Like one of my clients just started, and she wants, you know, she's starting a business. So that way she could move, be closer to her kids, be closer to her grandkids. And when she announced that, everybody cheered her on. And it felt so good to see her really receiving that, really being in that, because it's scary to do a lot of this stuff with our money. It's frightening. You know, we really have to stretch, we really have to grow into it. And so having a community to support you, you know, and so like when you're doing the things and you need a little validation, you have a question, you want to get something done, like we're here for you. You ask a question in the community, we're answering it. So you get so much momentum in your journey around wealth so fast. And I love doing this work. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like I'm in the community all the days, talking to people, celebrating with people, you know, getting our energy on point, getting everything together. So that's what we're doing in Cash Confident. Cash Confident is a $99 a month. It's $897 if you want to commit to a full year of it. And it is amazing. If you're not sure if you can learn that way, you can come in, give it a try. 7 days. We do a free, not a free, but it's like a risk free. Like if you don't like it after a week, you can just tell us, we'll refund your money. You know, so you can come in, you can see it, you can feel it, see what it's like, and just make sure it's a good fit for you. Like, obviously, we all learn in different ways. We all, you know, and one of the questions I get a lot about Cash Confident is like, how much time? Like, 1 hour a week for a year is enough to totally change your trajectory with money. 1 hour a week. If you can dedicate 1 hour a week to either consuming the content, coming to a call, getting your work done, tracking your money, like literally the tasks, you know, the tasks, like literally setting up the things. That's all it takes. One hour a week for a year is enough to fully and completely change your trajectory. And I'll tell you some stories. So I had a client who came to see me. She has 4 kids. She came to see me, $43,000 in debt, making like $3,000 a month in a new real estate business within 2 years. So she was my client for a while. She wasn't my client for the whole 2 years. But a couple years later, I saw her and she told me that she had $10,000 in the bank, which was for her first time ever. Her income had gone from $3,000 a month to $18,000 a month. She paid off $43,000 in debt within that time frame. She had her invisible system set up. It was fully funded. She was saving for a lake house. That is 2 years. This woman, when she came to see me, had no control over her money, no clarity over her money. She was fighting with her spouse about money. She was not doing her money making activities in her business. In 2 years, she went from $3,000 a month to $18,000 a month. That is a life changing amount of difference, life changing. I had another client came to see me, married couple. They made about $140,000 a year between the two of them. They had almost $100,000 in debt within a year. Almost all of it was paid off. They had like 20,000 left. Almost all of it was paid off. So they paid off that much in that amount of time. And I wish that I took before and after pictures, because if you could see this woman's face and demeanor from when she came to see me to when she left, she was radiant and beautiful. And like her hair, like it's weird. We obviously are not teaching skincare, but she looked so much better when the stress from that, all of that money trouble, because that stress was in her marriage, it was in her mothering, it was in every decision she made. And when she got her money stuff under control, she felt so different. One of the clients in Cash Confident got a 55% raise within being in Cash Confident for a few months. 55% is enough to change the trajectory of your life, and that's what we're doing here. We're teaching you how to think like a wealthy woman, how to act like a wealthy woman, how to do all the wealthy woman things, and we're giving you a super cool free t-shirt if you join between now and the end of the month. So that's it. That's Cash Confident. It's easy, and it's a membership model, so you can cancel when you're complete. Right? Like that's the other thing. Not everybody, we don't all start at the same place, and so you may be able to come and get what you need. It may take you more time, it may take you less time. And that's why we're here. We're here for you to get you up those 7 levels of wealth, right? We go from busy, broken, exhausted to managing our cash flow, to maximizing our income, to accumulating money, to becoming an investor, to being financially independent, and to really impacting the world. And I want to help clients move from the vast majority of people are in the lowest 2 levels of their relationship with money, where they're either managing their cash flow or they're feeling busy, broken, exhausted. And those things can easily be changed with a little bit of time and focused effort. So $99 a month, 4 hours a month, 1 hour a week is enough to totally do this. And Cash Confident is the best program that's out there because, one, you're going to get a plan that's made for a human that's psychologically congruent with the way that humans take action, with the way that humans make decisions. You're going to understand how to work with your own brain around your money management. And that gives you so much power in your relationship with money. We're going to do the work around the financial strategy, around the habits, around the money mindset, around that emotional intelligence. And you're going to have a community to lean in, when you fall off, to lean in when you want to celebrate something, to lean in when you are having a tough day. Like all of that, we're there for you. So really, Cash Confident is the best program that ever existed. And if you come, you're going to get a super cool pink t-shirt so everybody knows you're part of the community. And it's so cool. I'm going to show it to you again. It's just the coolest, of t-shirts. It's this beautiful berry colored pink. It's got our logo. It's got the dagger. Puts you and tells everybody you're a member of the community. And that's it. All right. So I love you. I appreciate you. If you have questions, feel free to send me. You can comment here. If you have a question that you want to ask me, feel free to send me a DM. All of the things that I said about Cash Confident, they're all listed in the description. And if you come between now and the end of October, you'll get that free t-shirt, which is a sweet free bonus. We'll ship it right to your house. Very excited. All right. I love you. Bye, everybody.